Hello everyone. So today I'm trying to build a basic code HTML using CSS before and after property, and then we are going to build a tooltip using CSS before and after property as well. So let's begin with that. So the first thing which I am going to focus on is the basic HTML. So we are going to use block code tag today, and we are going to use some CSS properties like CSS before and CSS after, which are pseudo selectors, and we are going to use those selectors to build code characters like this, and then we are going to see how to build a tooltip using the same CSS after tag. Okay, so let's begin with that. So I have a code pen ready here, and in this code pen I have a body tag. Body tag may I have set the font size to 2.5 Arial. I have set blue color and text align to center, basic things. Now the first thing which I am going to do is I am going to set a div tag here, and within that I am going to use a block code tag. So block code tag is generally used to add quotes in your HTML. Let me just show you all. So if you search for block code, I think W3 schools will be a good resource. So this is the block code tag. You usually add a code like this, and then you can use it to show quotes or interesting facts like that. And then you can add a site or something like that. Okay. So let's start off with a block code tag in our page as well. So in the block code, I'm going to use a random code from Henry Ford, which is this one, which is if you think you can do a thing or you can't, you are right, something like that. So yeah, yeah, it's a bit long code. I don't know if I can copy this. You are right. So I'm done with typing the code. Now once I have this code, the next thing which I need to do is I need to add a quote mark before and after this quote, right? So for that we are going to use CSS selectors. Now the first selector which I'm going to use is CSS before property. So what we can do is we can select this block code tag and we can use double quotes or double points. So initially when I used to do it, I used to do it like this, but I went through some YouTube videos by Kevin Powell, and he mentioned that you need to use CSS before tag like this. Instead of adding a single colon, you need to add double colons like this for adding before and after tag, because these are the CSS3 specifications. So I'm going to use the same. So in the before property, we need to set a content. Now content can be anything. I'm just going to give you an example. So if I add ADF or something like that, the text will get shown here. Now there is a special type of content which you can use, which is open quote. So if I type open quote here and press semicolon, I will get this quotes kind of a thing. So this is a special mark which is added in CSS content property, by which you can add semicolons like this. Other than that, if you want to add any kind of text, you can add any kind of text as well. For example, I can add one dot and this will be a bullet mark. So these are some of the use cases of content property. So let me just go through CSS before first. So CSS before is a selector which you can use to add some content before your text or before your any kind of elements. Now in this case, I am using CSS before property to use my quotes mark. And one thing which I want to show is if you inspect this quote property, so let me just change this to open quote. So if I do and change this to open quote and right click and inspect element, now an interesting thing to understand is the before property is added just after the block code tag, even if it is called before. Like if you like hear about before, the first thing that will come in your mind is that yeah, this is added something before the HTML element. But no, it is added before the content of your HTML tag. So this is my content, right? So the anything that you add in the before selector is added before the content but within the HTML tag. Just keep that in mind. It won't be like a block code ke pehle before tag hai. It will always be after the block code tag and before the content of the tag. Similarly, if we go for after property, let me just add after tag as well. So okay, let me just close this. Now if I add a block code here, and if I add after tag, and in this content I think you can guess agar for opening code, if you are using open code, then obviously for close code there will be close code property. So if I add a close code like this and hit save, okay, the correct selector should be like this. Now if I hit save, I will have a quote at the end as well. Now if I inspect this block code tag again, let me just go to the div. So as you can see, the after tag is after the content but before the closing block code tag, and before tag is before the content but after the block code tag. Okay. So before and after are within the HTML element on which you add the before and after selector. They are just before the content. Okay. That is one of the things which you need to understand and keep in mind while using before and after tag. Now we have our content or the quote content ready. Only thing which we need to add next is the author. Now I went through a lot of tags which you can use for author. Some mentioned uh, small tags, some others mentioned span, or I think there was thick caption or something like that. I'm going to stick with the small tag for now. So in the small tag is basically an HTML tag for smaller text. Within that, I'm going to add author, which is Henry Ford. Hopefully this quote is from Henry Ford, and I just can just hope that this was actually told by Henry Ford. I don't know myself. Then I can add a class here, which is, let's say, author. Now author text is usually at the right hand side. So if you see here in the image, okay, these are centrally placed, but if we search for random quotes like this on images, we'll usually see that they are usually on the right hand side and not on the center. So like this. So what we can do is we can align this text to the right hand side. For that, we can pick up this author class and we can add text align to the right. Okay, next, this did not work. So next thing we can do is float right. Let's just try if this works. Okay, even that did not work. Great. So we will add a div here. Now we have a div, and let's give it a, let's just inspect and check. If something doesn't work, it's better to inspect and check what is happening wrong. I'm doing this for first time, so yeah, I make mistake. This is not like I had practiced this once, but sometimes things go wrong. No, this is my small tag. Okay, so float right did not work out because spelling was wrong. Aha. Okay, just a minor spelling mistake. We can remove texture and right, and we can add some margin towards the right hand side. So margin right here. I don't know, 2%. Let's just check how much that gives it. Some more, 12%. Too much, 8%. Okay, this works out. So this covers our first part of our session, which was creating a quote using CSS before and after property. I'm going to come to tooltip next, but that concludes our first part of our session, which was creating quotes using HTML, CSS, specifically block quote tag and CSS before and after properties. See you in the second part of the session. So in the second part of our session, I'm going to create a tooltip on a text like this, and tooltip content should be visible. So let's start off with that. Now the first thing which you can do is add a separator after this div so that they remain different. So I'm going to add a HR tag here. HR is horizontal rule tag. which every one of us knows. Now the issue that occurred is the text, since I added a float, right, this text will come after HR tag. So in order to fix that, I'm going to change this small to div tag and this float to text align, right? Now the HR tag will be visible properly. Next thing which we can do is focus on our next div, in which we are going to add some text. So I have added a div here. Let's give it a class, which is, let's say, tooltip container. Once I have my div ready, I can add some random text. So let's have a p tag. Now one shortcut which you can use is type lorem, and I hope 10 also works. So if you type lorem 10 and hit tab, random text of 10 words will get added into your code pen. Now once you have this kind of a text, I think it is not visible. So what we can do is we can add some margin in this tooltip container, so that just the text which we are focusing on gets visible. So I'm going to add 5 rem top margin, and we are going to focus on this. So I don't know, 10. Yeah, this is much better. Now we are able to focus only on our text which is used in current session. Next thing which we can do is we can add a link to this ipsum. So I'm going to add a tooltip on about this ipsum word. So I'm going to add a tag here. A tag is for links, if you remember. So this is just for hyperlinks. Now once you have the a tag ready, we can add a href attribute to hash, because we are not linking it to anything. So we have a link kind of a thing generated here. Next thing which we need to add is data attribute. So I'm going to add data tooltip content is equal to some content which is going to come within the tooltip. So let's add some text which is content within tooltip. Now I think data property will be new to some of you, so let me just come to that. So data attribute is used to add your custom information within your HTML attribute, which you can use later. So anything like data dash animal type or anything like that. So you can use it for your own convenience. For example, we have here data animal type, right? Data animal type attribute can be used to track some kind of unique element, and then we can add some custom. We are adding some custom HTML in this case using this data animal type. So I think on click of this button, we will get some text like this. So this bird is stored in this data animal type, and then on click of this uh, text, we are showing an alert and getting the data animal type attribute here and showing that owl is a bird. ठीक है, ये bird कहाँ से है, ये bird यहाँ से है. Similarly, what we are going to do is we are going to add some text in our tooltip, and we are going to focus on that. For now, I think I'm going to remove this block code temporarily so that I am able to focus on just the text now. What we are going to use is we are going to use the data tooltip content to add the content within the tooltip, which is to be shown in the top section here. Okay. So the next thing which we can do is we can use a selector. So if I want to use this a, or if I want to select this a tag which contains the data tooltip content, I can go for a selector like this, and we can add some properties. So this is a selector which you can use for selection of custom attributes like data attribute. Okay. That is square brackets, and within that the attribute which you want to select. For example, if I had to select data animal type, let's say if I had text with data animal type, I would have added data animal type within my square brackets. These are the CSS syntaxes. I did not made them, but those are the things which you need to keep in mind basically and use them. There is no such like why this happened. This happened because CSS syntax is like that. Okay. So we can go for a position relative here. Position relative property is basically to make sure that the tooltip which you are going to add is having a content which is somewhere here and not at the start of the page, that is related to this text. Okay. Now we are going to again use our after selector, after pseudo selector. So I'm going to select this a data tooltip attribute using square brackets again. So data tooltip content, then double quotes or double colon, and then after tag. Okay. And within the subtool tag, what we are going to do is we are going to use the content property again. Now if I add some text here, that ASDF will get displayed, right? Now what I want to do is I want to use this content which is present in my data tooltip. So how do I do that? So for that I'm going to use a data tooltip content, and I did not work out. Okay, let me just check. Okay, we are going to use attr tag. My bad. So we are going to use a attribute tag here, and with this attribute tag we have this content within tooltip shown here. So within this with this attr tag, which is attribute tag, let's just check what this is again. Attr html. Okay, we use this one. So attr is basically picking up the data which is present in a particular attribute. In our case, the data which is present in data tooltip attribute. Once I have this content, I can change it a bit. Like I can change the position basically. So I'm going to first give it a position of absolute. Now it is just on the ipsum content. Then we can give it some background. Background could be RGBA. So RGBA is to set a color with its opacity. So I'm going to use black color, but with a slightly lesser opacity, let's say 0.8. Then add some padding to this tooltip as well. So I don't know, 2 rem should be good enough. Next, I think the text should not be broken like this, so we can have word break, I think. Okay, we will do it later. First, let's bring it to a proper position. So I'm going to set the left property to -100% and bottom to 0px. Next, display should be set to block, I think. Okay. Now once I have this text somewhere around here, we can break out this text into a property which was white space no wrap. Yes, now I remember. So we can use white space no wrap to keep this in a single line basically. Okay, I think it was something else. Let me just check. Yes, it is white space no wrap, but without the dash. Okay. So now my text is, the only problem is now the tooltip is not at the, what can you can say, at the proper position which should be above. So for that I think we had used some other property which was bottom 100%. Okay, so if I change this bottom 0px to 100% like this, then the tooltip shifts to the top, right? Now let me just change the color before I move ahead. So I can set the color to white, and font size can be reduced a bit. Like I don't need this much huge font size, so let's keep it to 1 rem. I think we can have some padding here. So okay, padding spelling is wrong. So this is what we typically want in a tooltip. So we have some content. Let's reduce the padding a bit with, okay, this should be good enough. Then we can add a border radius property. Set to, I don't know, 10px probably. Okay, this looks like a tooltip. Now the one thing which we notice is if I set this bottom to 0, the tooltip is at the bottom, and when it gradually goes to 100%, it shifts to the top. So that is one property which we are going to focus on while making this tooltip visibility dynamic. What I mean by dynamic is this tooltip should be visible only when I hover my mouse over this word, right? So for that, first thing which we need to do is we need to first hide this tooltip when in the normal cases. For that, we are going to use transform property. Now transform property, for those of you who don't know, transform is used to change the size and position of elements. So this is the property which I am talking about, CSS transform property. So you can rotate the element, skew the element, and scale the element. Now in case of scale, what happens is the size can increase or decrease according to the value which you set in this uh, attribute. So in this case, if I come to my uh, tooltip and if I scale this to 0, then my tooltip will vanish, and once I change this to 1, the tooltip will come back. So what we need to do is we need to transition from scale 0 to scale 1 when mouse is hovered on this uh, text. So for that, we are going to use the CSS transition property. Transition is used to control the movement or change in properties like this. So this is the property which I'm talking about. Transition can be used to transition or allow some elements to change. So this is what happens. So in this case, on over, the width is, let's say, 300 px and normal width is 100 px. So transition will allow this width to change slowly in 2 seconds time. So this width changes from 100 px to 300 px on hover because of this transition CSS property. Okay, so we are going to use that as well. So the first thing which we can do is we can add a attribute here which is hover. So hover is the selector by which you can control what happens when mouse is out on this text. So we can pick up this a element again. Now this is the property which I'm talking about, which is hover. Now in hover, I can change the color of the text. So let's say if I set the color to black, for example. So on hover, the text color will change to black, something like that. Now in our case, I don't want to change the color, but I want to show my tooltip. So in that case, what I can do is I can use my second selector, which is after. So what this means is on hovering over this text, what should happen to the after selector? That is what this combined chain property is. If this is confusing, let me just repeat. So this first hover property is used to set the properties when mouse is over, and the second selector is used to make sure that some change occurs in our after element or this after selector tag. Okay, so that is why we have chained this over and after together. So in our case, what we are going to do is we are going to transform or change it, transform from 0 to scale 1. And as you can see, the tooltip is visible on hover. Now I want this transition to be a little bit slower, like this shouldn't be like immediately. So for that, we can go for the transition property. Just like this width is changing in the span of 2 seconds, we can change our transition to happen in span of 1 second, let's say. So for that, we go to transition property, and we can use this property on scale, or the transform property sorry, the transform property. And in case of duration, we can set this to 1 second. Now let's just check if this works. So as you can see, the tooltip comes in a span of 1 second and it goes in a span of 1 second. So this looks a bit better than the previous one. Other thing which we can do is we can allow this tooltip to come from the bottom instead of the this kind of a thing. So for that, we can go for a ease out property here, or ease in if you want. Ease in and ease out are basically the types of transition that you want. Let me just showcase that. So those are the by default the properties ease in which we are currently using. Now another thing which we can do is we can change this bottom from 0% to 100%. So that the tooltip goes from bottom to top rather than this horizontal kind of a thing. So for that, I'm going to set this bottom to 0%, and when the transition occurs, the bottom should be changed to 100% again. Okay, and let's save. Now the problem that is occurring is our transition is causing the bottom to trigger a bit late. So we can add a comma here, and we can set the bottom transition to 1 second as well. Now as you can see, the tooltip comes from the bottom and then gradually maximizes. Okay. Now we can change this 1 second to some lower value because we don't want this low amount of transition. I added 1 second so that things become clear. So this is basically how you create tooltip using your CSS after property. So that was what we wanted to cover. Let me just briefly recap what we did in today's session. First, we used our block code tag, and with this block code tag, if you remember, we created a code, and we added this opening and closing selectors using open code and close code tag. Next, what we did was we assigned the author and we aligned it to write. Next, we added an HR tag. Then we focused on some random text and we were adding a tooltip. For that, what did we do? We added a paragraph tag. We added a tag. A tag में हम लोग ने क्या किया? We added an href attribute and we added a data tooltip content. Now, in the tooltip content, we added the content which we wanted within the tooltip. So let's say if I wanted to add some other text, like let's say if some information. So in that case, this tooltip will show if some information. So whatever text we add here, that text is showing the tooltip. How did we achieve that? For that, we first set the position to relative for our a tag for this data tooltip content. Then we went with the after selector, and in the after selector we did a lot of things. Let me just briefly tell you what we did. First one was this content tag. Now obviously I also forgot about the attr tag and made a mistake, but that's okay. So this attr tag contains the data tooltip content. Basically the content which was present in my data tooltip content attribute, we picked this using the attr tag and we added in the content property. Then we set the position absolute because we wanted this to be just above and just after this ipsum text. We set the background of this tooltip to black, some padding and spacing within this text. Left is set to minus 100% so that this is central. Now if I set this to 0%, let me just show you. So that tooltip will get, obviously tooltip will be shown from just the beginning of the text. That is why we set it to negative 100%, because left 0 specifies that it should start at the beginning of our text. We did not want it. We wanted it to be shifted a little backwards. That is why this was set to negative 100%. Then the bottom 0% is because this starts from this bottom 0% and gradually moves to the top. Then display block is to make this block kind of a content. White space no wrap so that this text does not breaks. Color white color. Font size was reduced a bit. We added a border radius for having this curved edges. Then we use transform property to change the transition, that is we change from transform scale 0 to 1. So we did that using hover property and using transition property. Transition में हम लोग ने क्या किया, transition with transition we set or slowed down the transform property from 0 to 1 a bit with a duration of 0.5 seconds so that it looks a little bit better. And that's it from my end. Now this tutorial is originally inspired from Kevin Powell's three-part CSS series. I'm going to share the link in the description for that as well. If you get time, go through that series as well, because that is a much more information dense kind of a thing. I just condensed all the learnings which I got from that three-part series into my session. I hope you like it. Please do check out the original three-part series if you want to learn more about this CSS before and after properties in detail. I will show it in the description. And if you like this video, uh, give me a thumbs up, comment some good feedback, and obviously subscribe to the channel so that I can keep creating content. And obviously it motivates me to have a good amount of subscribers on my channel. I do check it out every day. Chalo. Goodbye and have a nice day everyone. See you in the next video.